Our next task is to save the spawn location of where the player has last touched. So let's go ahead and take a look at this game. The player is going to start at this location here, really black, and then he's going to navigate through the obby. And once he gets to, let's say, here, after about, I don't know, an hour of play or 30 minutes of hard play, he decides that he doesn't have enough time, or they decide they don't have enough time, and they close the window. Right? They leave the game. When they come back to play, the way that it's set up now is that they're going to start at this location here. Right? And why? It's because if you look here in Explorer, our team color is set to really black on our team object. Right? And that's the same color as the spawn location. What we want to do is we want to save this spawn location's team color, right? And when the player loads in the game, then it's going to load the player's team color, the location that they're going to spawn at, to that same team color. And so in order to do that, every time the player touches a spawn location, we need to have a team color on the leader stats board, and we also need to have a team color on the data store service leader stats board. Right? So then we could save the team color that they last touched, and when they leave the game, we'll save it here. And then when they load the game, then it's going to grab the team color from here and then make sure that the player spawns at that same team color. So the first thing that we need to do to get this done is to go into our leader stat script and add a couple of lines of code. Right? What we had before were only oomphs. Right? Let's go ahead and add team color as well. In addition to that, right here, you're going to need to add this line here and this line here. So what this is saying is, when it did pull the data from the data store service, if there was data, then we're going to set the team color value, which is this value here, equal to what was on the leader stats in data store service, which is this. Okay, so it's going to go ahead and grab this value, and it's going to save it right. It's going to save it right over here. Okay. And the else is if there was no leader stats data, right? If this is the first time they're playing, then it's going to set their team color value to really black. Okay, and then the line of code that is going to cause the player to spawn at that team color value is this line right here. We're going to say player.teamColor, and we do have the player, right? He's right here. That's running off of the connect. And we're going to set his team color equal to the team brick color new, which is a type of color value, equal to the team color.value. So this is going to have like really black inside of it, and then he's going to spawn at that first spawn location. But if the team color value was not really black, let's say it was spawn 2 color, dark stone gray, then this here would be dark stone gray, and then the player would spawn at that location. Okay. So moving on down, we're also going to add team color here, and that's about it, right? So this is going to cause, when you leave the game, for it to take the team color value from the leader stats, player's leader stats. So it's going to take this team color, and it's going to save it onto the data store service. Okay. Let's see if this is going to work, but we're missing one component, and one component is when the player touches a spawn location, we need to set the player's leader stats team color value equal to that spawn location's color. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to spawn location 2. Let's go over here to spawn location number 2, because we're going to start here and we're going to walk over to here. Notice here that I changed the form of the obby so that we can easily walk to spawn location 2. So let's go and right click and say insert object and go to script. Let's go ahead and call this script spawn 2 script. That looks a little messy, so let's do underscore underscore. Okay, and then in here what we need to do is get the local spawn location and set it equal to script.parent. And next we need to add a touch to that spawn location. So we're going to say spawn location.touch, and we're going to say connect, and we're going to connect to a function called onTouch. And we're going to go ahead and create this function onTouch, and inside we're going to have touched, lowercase touched part. Okay, so that's that, and now inside what we need to do is we need to get the player, right? And so to get the player, we could say local player is equal to game services, get service, and we're going to put players in here. Then once we have that, we're going to do get players from character, and inside we're going to get the character, and to get the character we do touched part, so that's the hand of the character, and we're going to do dot parent. Okay, so this can either give you back the player if the touched part is a part of the player, part of the character, or it can give you back nothing if the touch part is not the part of the character. Let's say the touch part is the base plate when the spawn location is first loaded into the game. Well, if that's the case and the touch part is the base plate, then this function here is not going to return anything, and player is going to be equal to nil, right? Nothing. So what we need to do now is check if there is a player, right? And if there is a player, that means we're ready to go, because the thing that touched, or the object that touched the spawn location, is the player. So let's say player.leaderstats.team color.value is equal to this spawn location's team color, which is going to be here. And let's go and make sure you're very careful when you're typing in dark stone gray. It's gray with the EY, and these two words are lowercase, and this one here is uppercase. We want to put all of that inside a set of double quotes, and so that is going to save our team color here. Okay, and then when we leave the game, then our leader stat script is going to take that same team color value and it's going to save it onto the data store service. And then when we reload the game, we exit the game and we enter the game again, then this function is going to run, and it's going to get the data from the data store service, and it is going to load it into our leader stats board, right? I mean our player's leader stats, and then we're going to go ahead and make sure that we spawn there. So let's go and see if all of this works as planned, and say publish to Roblox, play the game, open up Roblox. And so we start here, okay? And so you're gonna start here, and you might wonder, like, what the heck is going on? Shouldn't I be starting over there at the spawn location number 1? What is happening exactly? Well, when we what's happening is this strange little bug. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I could try to explain it to you. So let me get out of here. Okay, so what's happening is that we're still creating our leader stats board, right? So we're testing, and we tested, so we went ahead and created a leader stats folder on the player, right? And we didn't create a team color, okay? Not one here and not one here. So when we first play, this function is going to run, and it's going to get the data from the leader stats board folder from data store service here. And when it does, it's actually going to get data, okay? It's not going to get the leader stats data, the team color. It's not going to get the team color, but it's going to get the oomphs. So when it loads the data in, this is true because we do have oomphs in there, and it's going to load the oomphs into oomph.value. But the team color is not here. And so what's going to load into the team color value is nothing, right? And I could show you that that's the case by coming over here, pressing FN, F9, clicking on server. Oh, okay. Clicking on server. Yeah, something's going wrong with my mouse, but anyhow, we're here, and I could print game.players.delete smusd, and you could do this on your own computer as well. Leader stats.teamcolor.value, and let's print out what's in there, and you can see that nothing is in there. Okay, it prints out nothing right here. So that's what's happening right here, that nothing is being stored into the team color value. And then when we're creating a brick color, it's a brick color of nothing, and then we are warping the player to that location. And for some reason, I'm not sure exactly why, but when that's the case, it warps it to this third one here. Okay, so what we need to do, and actually, so when the player first runs the game, right, for the very first time, well, he's not going to have this problem. And why isn't he going to have this problem? It's because he doesn't have any of this stuff, right? He doesn't have a leader stats on the server. So when it runs the very first time for a new player, when it grabs the data from data store service, nothing's going to be there. This is not going to be true, and the else is going to be true. And since the else is true, it's going to set oomps to 0, and it's going to set team color value to really black. And then when it goes to set the player's team color, it's going to set it to really black, and he's going to start at spawn location number 1. Okay, so this isn't really going to be a problem, but since we're like developing this and we have that issue that I was just talking about where there are oomphs, and so since there are oomphs, there are leader sets data, and since there are leader sets data, it does this code here and not this code here, and then it sets team color value to nothing, and then that causes an error here when we set. So in order to get around this, what we can do is, oh, hold on, I'm having some problems here, so let me reload my complex lobby into Roblox. So what we can do just to kind of simulate this is I'm going to go back into the the server, and I'm going to set the team color to really black. Okay, so I'm going to say FN, F9, click on server, come down here and say game.players.delete smusd .leaderstats.teamcolor.value is equal to really black, like that. Hit enter, we're good to go. And now I can jump off, or I can leave the game, and I will start at spawn location number 1. Oh, I'm not starting at spawn location number 1. Oh, that's odd. Let's do that again. Team color value is really black. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is setting my team color value to really black on my player, right? And now to save it onto data store services as really black, I need to leave the game. Okay, so let me go ahead and leave the game now, and that's going to cause this script, this script to save the team color onto the data store service, and now I can come back in and it will be set to really black. And this will be the same on yours as well. And now we can finally test to see. So here we start at the right spawn location, and now we can start test to see if this works. Okay, so let's come over to here. We touch this spawn location, and now let's go ahead and leave the game. Well, first of all, let's check if we respawn there. Okay, so we are at the right spawn location, and it should have set our team color equal to, I think it was dark gray or dark stone gray. And now when I leave the game, it's going to go ahead and save that value up here into data store services. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And then when we re-enter the game, it's going to grab this data, put it here, and cause our player to spawn right here at our second location. So let's go ahead and leave the game, and let's come back. And here we are. So we're at the right spawn location. And so now the next challenge task for you will be to add scripts to all of the other spawn locations. I guess we should add one to one as well, right? So add one to all of the spawn locations, And it should be basically the exact same thing as this one here, except when you touch the other spawn locations, you want to make sure that the color that the team color is set to, or the string that the team color value is set to, is the same color as that spawn location. Right, so this one would be stark stone gray, spawn location 3 would be medium stone gray, and so on. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll continue on.